welcome back to the channel. My name is Ashley, and I actually just bought the Night in the Woods game that came out February 21st and did a 3-hour stream on it on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/ISceneAshley. So I wanted to give you guys my first impressions on the game. Before I jump into my opinions on the game, I want to give some background on the game. According to the Steam store page, it says Night in the Woods is an adventure game focused on exploration, story, and character, featuring dozens of characters to meet and lots to do across a lush, vibrant world. The game was a Kickstarter-funded project, so it was a pretty hyped game. With 70 reviews on the store page, it is overwhelmingly positive reviews, so that definitely does send out a good message about the game and where it's going to be going. The game is $19.99 right now, which is a little bit higher than what I would want to pay for a single-player game, but it also isn't like a bank breaker with like it being $60 or anything. There was some negativity towards the game before the release because the release date actually got pushed back, I think 3 times total. So people weren't really expecting it to actually come out February 21st like it was stated that it was supposed to. So I feel like because of them pushing the deadline back, that did cut some of the people who were going to buy the game, because people aren't going to buy a game if they don't feel like the game is ever going to actually follow through. I mean, unless it's like Half-Life 3, I feel like everyone would buy into that, even with just a tiny promise of it maybe being a thing. Whenever I did see about the negativity and how they did push the deadline back by months a couple times, I almost didn't buy into the game until I saw that it was a for sure thing. But I did end up buying the game, and I did stream it for 3 hours. So without further ado, let's get into my first impressions on the game. On the Steam page, it does say that it has controller support, like full controller support. So I did end up playing with my PS4 controller. The game is coming out for PS4, it just hasn't yet. It's just out on PC. But I did start to try to use my keyboard at first, and I had issues with doing that. It would let me use like the arrow keys or WASD to go through the main menu options, like the start game options or exit. But anytime I would try to hit enter or anything of the like to actually select what I wanted to select, it wouldn't go through. I don't know if that's an issue with the game being coded to just be used with controllers, or maybe just me being awkward, or my computer being awkward, or even just like with all the programs I had open up to stream, maybe that interfered with it. But if someone doesn't have a controller because they are just playing on a computer and it doesn't have keyboard integration, that seems a little bit odd. That was the first issue I had with the game. Once you get into the game, you kind of choose like a story path, I guess, because you're talking about your grandfather's death and you have to like help come up with the details of the story, kind of like in a Mad Libs way, but they kind of give you the phrases to choose from. I don't know, guys, I just kind of thought it was pretty cool. Once you get into the game though, you don't really know exactly what you're doing because they don't really give you any of the key bindings or information for a controller, and they do kind of give you hints as to what you're supposed to do. Like the first thing that you're going to do is do a jumping puzzle kind of thing to get into town. That kind of sets up the theme for the game because you do have to kind of jump on the electric lines in the game to get to secret areas. I don't know if you have to do those secret areas to complete the game, but I've been trying to find as many as I can. The thing about the hints though is they don't come straight out and tell you. You have to keep interacting with your cat's memories, I guess you want to say, because like if you click on it so many times, then she'll be like, oh, keep running and do 1, 2, 3 high jump, and then you find out that that's how you high jump. It took me quite a few times, as you can see later in my gameplay, to get past this part just because I didn't know that you could high jump, and it made it sound like you jump in space 3 times and then you high jump. I don't know. It was just really confusing. And again, I am an awkward human being when it comes to games, so it could just be me. So kind of don't take that, like take it with a grain of salt. Like don't send off the game just because of that. But once you actually learn about the high jump, that's basically the only trick to the game that I've realized so far, because the rest is just kind of walking around and then you do the 1, 2, 3 high jump to get up onto the lines. Like the game kind of operates like a walking simulator. There's not really much to walk around and do in this game. You just kind of walk around, jump up on the lines, go explore areas, but it's not like you're getting into combat and you need some high action movements or anything to learn with the controller. As far as the art style of the game though, it is really interesting. The art itself kind of makes me think of Adventure Time art. It's really simplistic and like kind of 2D, but yeah, it's just really 2D and it makes me think of Adventure Time, guys. Like, that's all there is to it. But the animations of the game makes me think of Undertale. Like, the protagonist's best friend, Gregory, his animations whenever he gets excited actually makes me think of the shopkeepers in Undertale, so that's why I relate it to Undertale. Also, it's not like the characters are moving around a whole ton whenever they are talking to each other. They kind of just like will lock into one animation and like do a little jig or whatever while talking, and it's not like it's changing throughout their sentence. It's the same thing for that whole interaction with that character. One thing that did really annoy me with the game is the interactions with some of the things. Say you were going to go visit your best friend Gregory at his work, and you have to actually interact with the door to go into the door, but then if you walk anywhere near the door to get back out, or just like to be in the store but you want to look around, you end up actually exiting the store. Like, you don't have to interact with the door to leave, and that kind of annoyed me a little bit. I don't know why, but like it just felt like if you're gonna make me interact with the door to get in, then make me interact with the door to get out as well. Also, some of the dialogue didn't really match up with each other. Like, I don't know if it's meant to be like this, or maybe they just kind of forgot what they named the pastor, but like, once you meet the pastor of the church, you definitely get told that her name is Kate. All right, she even tells you her name is Kate. And then later she's like, Pastor Karen. And then later in the game, it goes back to it being Pastor Kate. So like, get your story straight, game. Like, figure out what you want the character's name to be. As far as the dialogue does go, though, whenever you talk to your mother as well as the character, like, she likes to overuse the word honey and sweetie, and I get that she's trying to be like a comforting mom, like trying to figure out why her daughter's home from school and isn't telling her why she's home from school. But mom, like, stop saying honey and sweetie every single sentence. Like, use her name or something. I don't know. It got to me, and like, even during my stream, I talked about it a lot. Like, use some variety in your dialogue, man. And yes, I fully acknowledge that all of these things are really small, nitpicky things, but it is, like, that's my first impression of the game. So far, I haven't gotten super into the game, so I can't give a full review of it. But these are the things that I found that kind of bothered me just a teeny tiny bit during my stream. While we are on the topic of the stream, I wouldn't suggest this as a game to stream. If you want to do a video of it, do a let's play or something, but streaming it kind of, I think, actually took away from the game for me, because the people who are viewing my stream actually kept talking about how they didn't like the characters that much, and I think that weighed down on me because I wasn't having as much fun with the characters, and I wasn't getting completely immersed in the character's story, which for a game that is supposed to be completely story rich and like a big adventure, you want to get immersed into that story to actually have fun with the story. Overall, for this game, I would definitely give it like a 7 out of 10. I'm not really sure so far if I would increase or decrease that score. I'll give a better score once I've actually completed the whole entire game. I am going to be uploading all of my gameplay from Twitch over to YouTube, so if you do want to check that out and see my experience with the game, be sure to check that out. I hope this video did give you a good idea of my first impressions of the game. Like I said, this game is very much in the games that I like to play, with it being story rich and being on an adventure, and it's kind of a point and click adventure. I might even throw this into my top 10 interactive story games, guys, that will be coming up sometime in the future, not sure when, but I don't feel like you should ever take someone's first impression, though, as critically as you should research the game yourself and see if it will be good for you to play, because I feel like you'll miss out on a lot of gaming experiences. I think it's a good idea to include people's first impressions into your review and research as to whether you want to play the game, but I don't think you should base it completely off of that. So if you guys did buy the game, leave a comment in the comments down below, because I do want to know about your experience with the game. Maybe you even have some rebuttals to some of the things that I said about the game. I just want to hear from you guys and hear your opinions, because that's what YouTube and Twitch is all about, is the communities that you form. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am Ashley. I stream on twitch.tv/ISceneAshley. If you want to follow me on my Twitter, my Instagram, I even have a Fiverr if you want to commission some logos or artwork from me, that'd be super duper cool because I love doing some creative things for you guys. It's all down in the description. Make sure you follow the Twitch so that way you know whenever I am live streaming these games that I will be exporting over to YouTube. But if you want to be part of the conversation, you should follow me on there. And I will see you guys next time in the next review.